Welcome back to the Black Hills and Eastern Railroad, everybody. Eric here. In this episode, we're putting on detail parts on the Visitor from the East. This is part 2 of a 3-part sub-series on doing that Kato SD40-2. We started with stripping the model, and then we moved on to modifying the nose and doing some electrical work underneath. This time, we're going to be installing some grab irons, MU hoses, anti-climber, and plow on the front of the engine. And then we're going to make some preparations to the cab. Stick with us. This part is the Details West anti-climber AC 189 EMD SD series diesels. I'm not sure it would be limited to SD series. I'm pretty sure it worked fine on the Jeeps as well. There's a little bit of cleanup on these out of the package. And we're just going to use a drop of CA to attach that. And then there's these braces that we have to put on that come in that package. Overall, that part looks pretty nice. So go back to grabbing a drop of CA here with a toothpick and applying that to the surface to be joined. We're going to center that in that front pilot and bring it level with the flush with the deck. I think I know how I want to do that. So now I set the Details West MU hoses down into place in those holes that we drilled and put a drop of CA in with those. Now we're going to move on to placing those detail parts for the pilot, those supports over the, or those shields over the support members. And these are pretty little, have to be shaved down just a little bit. You'll see on the when you get these out of the package that there is a little bit of a channel there for the detail part, or location channel for the detail part to finish up, to fit over that support member on the anti-climber itself. So what you end up with is the support members and the shields, MU hoses. So this Kato cab, this is the stock cab that came with the SD40-2, has mounting holes or locate holes for the plastic sunshades that come with the model. The prototype that we're modeling does not have sunshades on it. So I want to fill these holes. I've in the past skipped this step, and I've kind of not been happy with the results. We're going to be putting a darker paint on here, so these might not be too visible, but you know what? I want to get these filled. What I've done is I bought some Tamiya putty. I've worked with Squadron putty in the past and had good luck with that. And a little bit of this is going to go a long ways here. So I've applied a small amount of it to our Post-it note here. And I'm going to, this is my first time ever working with this stuff, so, and it feels like at this point I might end up making a bigger mess than it's worth. And it feels like the best thing to do is just to glide the toothpick over the hole with a very small amount of putty on it. See if I can get a good shot of that there. We're going to continue by putting grab irons on the shell here. We've got Titty Train Group. This is an 18-inch drop style grab iron, 3015 or 301S. I'm not sure which that is. I've got a bunch of paint overspray on the number there. Anyway, 18-inch drop is what you want for this. And these looks like there's some kind of brass phosphor type. And we're just going to go ahead and insert these, and then we're going to glue them from the back. Our holes are drilled out. And the reason why I'm using these instead of the plastic grab irons that come with the Kato is that these are a little bit finer and probably a little bit more resilient, and actually, if truth be told, a bit easier to work with. Those plastic ones are directional. There's some right ones, some left ones, and they go a particular direction. They've got a particular direction their legs go, and you have to fit those in those holes that are pre-drilled, and it's not a whole lot of fun. So I'll try and get one here for you to give you an idea how this works, and then I'll go on and do the rest, and you can catch up with me later. So we'll do this upside down, and I'm inserting that one end, and I'm kind of doing this by feel. So I'm inserting the one end, and then since these are on an angle, we have to put one in just a little further. And then what we'll do is, from the back side here, you can see the legs sticking through the shell. We'll go ahead and glue from the back side. We do not want that glue on the front side. And I'll bring you back when we're getting close to being done with grab irons. So on the nose here, I drilled these out myself. So these holes go in at a 90-degree angle to the material. On a stock model, these grab irons would be going in on the right side as the engineer faces forward on the model. But this particular prototype calls for these grabs to be mounted on the other side. And just an administrative note here with the sand filler hatch and the brake wheel, I think I'm going to leave those detail parts off until after we get done with the rough part of the painting and detailing. This thing has to come off and on this sub base for painting, and I don't feel like breaking that brake wheel off of there. And pretty much the same thing with the sand filler hatch. We will be masking this for a black anti-glare patch here on the top of the nose, just like the BN units. And so we might get rough with that, so I'd rather leave that off until the last. We're probably going to paint that black anyway. So now onto the snowplow that's going to go on the front of the engine. We are going to apply a little bit of glue to the back side of this, but yet enough to hold it on there. And we've pre-positioned those MU hoses to go through these open doors here. So there was quite a bit of horsing around that just went on off camera here, and I repositioned those MU hoses clusters out further to accommodate the plow. And I was thinking that it was this plow that was different than the typical Details West plows that I use on these units. Well, it wasn't, because the Details West plows showed just as wide of a separation between those MU doors as did this plastic one. I think this is off of a Proto unit. Get that centered in the pilot there until that looks good. And what we'll need to do now is we'll need to cut pardon the pun, cut the cut levers to fit around that anti-climber, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute. The cut lever will actually want to run through that support. The shaft of that cut lever will actually want to run right through that support there. So we'll have to basically take that in three pieces in order to get that to fit. So I dove into the Kato parts bag that comes with the SD40-2. You get a brake wheel, at least the snoot nose anyway. You get a great big plow. I think that's a Southern Pacific prototype, not sure. Don't think any roads that Kato manufactured this engine for actually used a plow like that. Maybe the Union Pacific. I'm not sure. What we're really looking for is this sprue right here, but then you get your handrails and truck side frame details, and also your number boards underneath there. We're going to set all this aside, except for this sprue right here, which will be taking that round grab iron for, like I said, the right rear of the radiators, and then the two sets, or the cut levers here. And these have little mounting lugs on the back sides of these, and the shell has pre-drilled locates that these fall into. What we're going to do on one of these is we're going to cut it so that we can accommodate that, like I said, that anti-climber. So the loop goes up towards where the conductor would be standing, and I'm going to get rid of actually all of that on the other side of that mounting lug. So I ended up with those cut levers cut and spliced in there. They're not perfect, but they're certainly good enough to represent the real thing to me. So then now we're moving on to the rear. And I like to do the center mounting brackets first. So that way I have a little insurance that if things go sideways and the thing wants to fly off, it can't because it's mounted by those center ones. Now we got one outside one, two outside ones, and then we go on to the opposite side of the locomotive. A note about the rear pilot, I looked at prototype photos and I'm unable to find convincing evidence or irrefutable evidence, as they say in NFL football on replays, to overturn the fact that there should be a plow back here. I kind of think maybe there should be, but I really don't want one of those long couplers back here. So we're going to leave that off. And somebody can tell me once we got the finished model that I did it wrong, but they should have been here to stop me if they didn't want me to not put a plow on when there should be. So we'll get an expert on this railroad in here. So there's your pilot. There's your shell. So we're going to place that grab iron here at the end of the radiator section. And I've learned from experience that it's a good idea to ream these Kato holes out when trying to place the Kato plastic grab irons. So we're just going to do that here. I've got a 72 drill bit that I use to make that hole a little bigger. And that way we'll be able to fit that plastic grab iron right in there. Cut that off of the sprue here. And then probably what we'll do is we'll glue this in from the back side as well. Gotta be able to see. So we've made pretty good progress since we got started on detail parts here. We have the anti-clamber, the cut levers on both the front and the back, the MU hoses on front and back, the plow on the front, and then with the shell itself, we've got the wire grab irons on both ends, the lift rings, the one grab iron, and that one round one in the back here. We've got two more items to put on the front here before we get started with a cleanup and then a prime and paint. So we'll go ahead and get started on that. And by that time, it'll probably be a little bit obvious to you guys that are in the know on this prototype railroad what's going on here. I hope you're enjoying this series on the Visitor from the East. If you like the content here, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe for more. Leave us a comment, all that good stuff. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next one.